It must be terrible for Chad, whom, I have never met or spoken to him, but I can imagine people just feel free to shit on him at the drop of a hat. I imagine people possibly, that was like a positive, even though it was not a happy story to hear, it was a positive interaction. But I can imagine people feeling free to just be negative to his face. And actually negative to your face, simply because it's so accepted. People tend to assume that it's just common knowledge that the music, like, this is terrible, and the people who make it clearly are morons and terrible people. So fuck them. Hey, fuck you.
So that's never happened to me.
But he's
I
face.
think for two reasons it hasn't happened to me. Number one, being a bass player who doesn't sing in a rock band is probably it's the closest thing to the witness protection program you can imagine. So I'm pretty much totally anonymous, which is awesome for me.
You are in the band, right?
Well, allegedly, Bruce, allegedly. But the other thing is that generally people are cowards. Generally speaking, people won't come up to me and tell me, that they don't like my band, mostly because they probably get the sense that I might physically dismantle them, which is not inaccurate. But
what's your belt in jiu-jitsu again?
I don't want to talk about anything like that. But I'm not. A spirited debate would ensue for sure, and that's something most people don't want. But it has happened to my brother. Usually in situations where the alcohol is flowing, the liquid courage goes a long way, and he's had to hand out a couple knuckle sandwiches over the years to people who had, outspoken opinions, who were begging for a knuckle sandwich. But that's just the way it goes sometimes. But for the most part, people are generally speaking fairly compliant, fairly easy. And when you tell them what band you're in, I can always tell if it's somebody who likes my band, is indifferent to my band, or hates my band by their reaction. It's just like, you're in that band. It's like, okay, I can see, that you might have a side hustle as a keyboard warrior, and that's cool. But yeah, you got any thoughts? No, never.
Interesting, because I remember when I had my moment, it was sort of like, hey, I have to ask, how did this happen? Like, literally the question I'm asking you on my podcast was one of I think it was our second or third interaction. I just was curious because,
yeah,
just for the public record, I fell into the indifferent. I heard some of the songs were cool. I was good. I wasn't that into music at the time. I had other things on my mind. So I sort of just missed the entire phase. And meeting you, and the thing about you is you're just my relationship to Mike, for the listener, is Mike's my guy to ask stupid questions to. I don't know why he agrees to this, but you always need to have somebody in your life that before you go into a business meeting or before you do something, you can ask the stupid questions to, so that when you go and do it, you're not asking the stupid questions in the moment, so that people who might invest in you or work with you don't think you're a moron. So I'll ask Mike, and I'll be a moron in Mike's presence, and he will set me straight, and then I will appear like I know what the hell I'm doing.
That's normal friend stuff, Bruce. That's what we do.
It's true, but I just want to kind of make it known. Partially because if you don't have somebody in your life like this, go find it. You need it. Otherwise, you're just going to make mistakes left and right. And while I'm a big proponent of mistakes, the less you make still, the better.
Yeah, no question. That's true.